as you can see, it's that time of year again. Ho 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 and all that stuff. Bah humbug. It's holiday season. Whoop-de-doo and all that stuff. So I'm here to do not a whole lot, but I figured I'd rewatch and review some of the holiday movies that me and Matt never got to. This is actually the very fourth. I was gonna say very first. So this is the fourth holiday season for Huge Movie Fanatic for this channel, and I'm gonna just throw in there some Christmas movie reviews for you guys because it's that time of year. And guess what? I'm actually going to start the review now, believe it or not. So I'm doing a review for the movie, which of course is just beyond classic, and a lot of people, I imagine, around the country and the world, maybe I don't know about the around the world, but in the country anyway, probably throw this movie on this time of year. It's a Wonderful Life, which of course is just one of the all-time Christmas classics or whatever, with the late great amazing Jimmy Stewart. Now I don't know, for some reason, I guess when I was a kid, I never was necessarily even interested in this movie. I never saw it until I was probably in my mid or late 20s. We actually saw it at one of these old theaters I talked about in a video prior in the city in Minneapolis, where the theater was actually as old as probably this movie. So it was really cool. And the very first time I saw this movie all the way through was actually in a theater that was probably around that you would have seen this movie in for the very first time. So it was like, upon its release, so it was like going back in time and seeing this movie for the first time in a theater, really small theater with one of them, smaller screens that you would have actually seen it in upon its original release, which was really cool. My problem with, It's a Wonderful Life is, now I'm a big fan of old movies. I love old movies. And a lot of times I think to myself, do I like old movies just because they're old, or do I like them because they're good? And sometimes I'm just like, do I like this particular old movie just because it's old, or because it's a good movie, or because I think it's a good movie? And a lot of times I can't answer that question, It's like, well, I can't imagine liking a movie that I don't think is a good movie, so maybe whatever. But this is actually one of the few instances where, well, I guess there's a lot of them, but this is an instance where just because it's old and it even has an actor that I think is obviously amazing, James Stewart, doesn't mean I'm just going to automatically like it. I got to tell you, I bought the DVD of this movie for $1 at Half Price Books, I think maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And that was the first time I'd seen it since seeing it for the first time at that older theater. And I can't remember what I thought of it at the time. I guess it was probably whatever, that doesn't matter. But I watched it last year, and then I watched it this year, just rewatched it so I could review it. And I gotta tell you, this movie doesn't rub me the right way very well. Not at all. I think that, first of all, it's like, what is it? Like, it's 2 hours long, and it's just like, wow. And my problem with It's a Wonderful Life is, at the end of the day, when the end of the movie comes along, and it's just like you realize that, I don't know, it becomes very apparent that the whole first part of the movie was basically just setting up all these instances where, he saves his brother from drowning, and he keeps the poison from, he doesn't bring the poison pills that the guy accidentally put in the capsules to the person. He does all this stuff, I can't remember what else he does, but he does all this stuff to, enlighten other people's lives and stuff. And I gotta tell you, like, watching the movie, it's not particularly interesting to me as we're seeing that stuff happen. First of all, I don't really like the way the movie starts with just like, how some movies start with the end of the movie is just like where we see houses, exteriors, and a bar or a restaurant or whatever exteriors, and it's just like, please pray for whatever the hell his name is, or I mean, not please pray, but I'm praying for him now, or whatever. Please help whatever his name is, James Stewart, and and it's just like, then they cut to the cosmos or whatever, and we see these, we see God or God's employees or whatever, and this angel who wants wings and stuff. And we see just like these lame ass, of course it's the 40s, whatever, but I mean, just lame ass, just galaxies blinking for talking. And one thing I don't like is setting that up where it's just like, okay, he's having a hard time, here's a chance for you to earn your wings. So apparently it looks like you're not even off the hook when you dead. You still have to freaking still like it's the military or something, do shit to earn your wings and all this shit. I mean, so the bullshit, of life doesn't even end after you're dead, according to this movie. It just keeps going. Like, you gotta earn your place, and oh Christ. Anyway, that's one thing I don't like about the movie either, is it's like, oh, after I do this, can I have my wings? I mean, it's been like 200 years or something since the guy died, and he spends 200 years trying to earn his frickin' wings. So long story short, if I were to do a Nate cut of this movie, that beginning wouldn't even be there. We just start the movie, we wouldn't be introduced to the angels or anything like that. Start the movie as is, like when the flashback starts. We'll just start the movie whatever, when he's a kid, and then just have it play through. And then when the guy, James Stewart character at the end of the movie encounters this guy who says like, oh, I'm an angel. It's just like the audience not having any forewarning or information about that character as we do in the movie as it's presented now would just be like, what the hell? But that's just because they'd be experiencing exactly what Jimmy Stewart's character is experiencing, like just like this guy who comes out of the blue who says like, I'm an angel and trying to earn my wings, and it's just like, what's this? Is this some drunk hobo? But we find out obviously when James Stewart's like, I don't even want to be alive. And it's just like when the angel makes that happen, we find out through that this is not just a drunk hobo who's dressing in 200-year-old clothes. He's actually what he says, and that way we'd actually realize that the guy is an angel. So we don't need to see that stuff at the beginning where it's like the galaxies and God's talking to the angel who wants to earn his wings or whatever. I think that's just dumb, and I think it'd be much cooler. Of course, it's an older movie, so whatever. But, I mean, that's one of my problems with the movie, is just play it straight and have the angel appear, whatever. So I made my point on that. But when this happened last year when I rewatched it this year, when a movie gets to the end, it's just like, oh, so the whole movie was just setting up, like I said before, all the reasons why, the positive things that his character, James Stewart's character, did for people by saving his brother, who and then in turn saved a whole battalion or boatload or plane load of people in World War II or whatever, and then they saved the person from getting poisoned when he was a kid, and all this stuff where him being alive affected positively. Oh, and also his wife, instead of becoming an old maid who worked at the library, she became a mother who I guess just was a stay-at-home mom or whatever. But anyway, to make a long story short, just the way that the whole movie just sets up to show how his life touched other people's lives. In the meantime, I think it's so lame that his character gives up everything that he wants to do for everyone else, which makes him really, kind of crotchety, rightfully so, and it's just like he wants to leave the town, but because of circumstances, revolving around the business, I can't remember particulars, if his dad died or whatever, then he's got to take charge of the business and all this and that. The movie's just kind of depressing in my opinion, just seeing him go after, hurdle after hurdle and bullshit after bullshit, and then at the end the angel's like, see, you really did have a wonderful life, and it's just like, what the hell are you talking about? His whole life was hell. He never got to do what he wanted, to like travel the world or whatever. I don't know, call me a Scrooge or Grinch, but I don't know what the hell the moral of the story is. I mean, I understand the stuff about his existence, even though he might have not enjoyed his life. His existence positively touched other people's life. Is that the moral, maybe? If your life sucks, it doesn't mean your life is worthless if you positively affect other people's lives. Is that the moral of the story? But I'm gonna go just 2 stars for It's a Wonderful Life. There's so much depression in the movie, and I get so sick of seeing that rich guy, try to screw him over every which way but loose, every which way from Sundays. Just screw him over. And he's like, when the guy, there's so much like frustration, so many frustrating scenes that make me frustrated, that make me antsy as a viewer, like the scene when his uncle lost the money. It's just like, it makes you want to go in the screen and say, that guy's got it, and it's just so, the whole movie is just frustrating to watch. And then he's like, and I don't understand why it's a Christmas movie, because only the end it takes place at Christmas. The whole rest of the movie is just all different times of year. So that's my take on It's a Wonderful Life. I don't particularly like it very much, and I wouldn't have watched it this year except for I wanted to re-watch it so I could more accurately review it. But I'm probably not going to watch it next year or maybe ever again. Now let's face it. I mean, there's scenes that are good, like the scene at the dance and stuff is kind of cool and that really awesome, which I absolutely love, like 20s, you know, jazz stuff and whatever, when they got all whatever and the stuff and the pool was opening up and stuff. I mean, I'm not going to say that it doesn't have any good scenes, but from just sitting here right now thinking about the movie, the stuff that really sticks out is just the negative stuff, of which there's a lot in this movie. It's just like, James Stewart wants to do this, he wants to do that, but so many things just keep him there, and things that just, the whole movie is him just like, that's what the whole movie is. And then towards the end, it's just like this kid's playing the piano. Do you have to play that darn tune all the time? And it's just like, why aren't you playing it? It's just like, God damn it. It's just, in my opinion, it's just not too terribly of an enjoyable movie to watch. That's my problem with It's a Wonderful Life. So once again, 2 stars for It's a Wonderful Life. That's what I think about it. So I don't know if I'll necessarily ever, maybe, I don't know if I'll ever watch it again, but I probably will, maybe. I don't know. If I'm too happy, I guess I could watch it. So thank you very much for watching, and as always, I'll catch you on the next movie review.